story movies. I'm talking about B movies that are seriously bad, glorious failures of movies. You know, you basically watch them and you're laughing through the whole thing. So earlier this year, my friend Jim and I started the Bad Movie Podcast, badmoviepodcast.com. And we basically sit around watching these viral masterpieces, and we suffer. Mostly it's laughter or the acting, like in reading off the cue card. But yeah, it's suffering sometimes. So why do I like bad movies? Well, I'm a geek, and you know, the zombies are right there. Zombies are cool. But also you get to see early careers of actors, and that's funny, but you also get to see jumping vampires attack robots on the beach. And that's the best thing ever. So, you know, you're sitting around and usually you get lessons like, you know, acting is overrated and stuff like that. But I started seeing like rare occasions where you actually had real lessons from movies. And so I'm going to talk about 8 of them. And they're very rare, and I had to stretch my imagination to figure these out. So the first one is Robo-War. It actually is supposed to say Robo-War. This movie is a story about a vampire, with jumping vampires, a robot, a wizard, a drug cartel, a Vietnam soldier, a love story between the robot or somebody. But anyways, this movie is basically like 15 movies that are all edited together into one piece. So the life lesson here is make the best with what you have, because they did. I mean, they really had to work. And there is no plot, things just kind of happen. At one point, this guy is walking for 15 minutes, literally. Next is Star Crash. And that is David Hasselhoff with a lightsaber. So, this movie is about Stella Star and her adventures in space. And it's bad, but this is one of the funniest ones. The lesson here, though, is you don't have to be first, because this movie completely stole from Star Wars. We have this green guy who's basically Yoda, but he's a cop, lightsabers. So you don't have to be the first to the idea. The iPhone wasn't the first smartphone, but this movie failed because it was not the best. I think you're supposed to be best when you learn this lesson. Gymkhana. Gymkhana is it takes place in Parmistan, which is a fictional city or country where they make all the tourists race to the death while being chased by ninjas. And this guy's a gymnast from the Olympics. So the lesson here is you can change careers, because you can go from being a gymnast to an action hero anytime you want. But if you go to Parmistan, tourist is not a good idea, because only the winner of the race gets to live. So you're screwed. And also, notice there's a pommel horse there. So when you change careers, things are always there for you. Troll 2. This is probably one of the worst all-time movies, I believe. At least I think so. Basically, a family goes to Nilbog, which is goblin backwards. There are no trolls. There are no trolls in this movie at all. So you're basically, this lady turns people into vegetables so the goblins can be vegans and still eat people. So you are what you eat. They became vegetables, and then the goblins ate them. And this, by the way, has the worst acting ever. But stay away from green food in this lady, because she's a Jewish witch or something. Champions of Justice. Yes, they were. This is a Mexican lucha libre film, where this band of merry wrestlers, Mexican's greatest heroes, are being chased by a evil scientist who genetically enhanced midgets and put them in these M suits. So you always need a backup plan, because everywhere that the wrestlers would go, the midgets were there to attack them, and his friends would always show up, even if they had no idea where he was. He would get in trouble. They're there. I guess it also means always have friends too. So that one actually has 2 lessons. Next is Night of Olympus. This movie is about. Actually, this has Dr. McCoy in it from Star Trek. It's awesome. So scientists release a rabbit into the wild, and they grow into giant rabbits that attack everyone. So yeah, take care of your problems when they're small. These people had a rabbit problem, and then they hired a scientist to fix it who used his evil science magic to make the rabbits big. And, well, they should have taken care of the problem, like, I guess years ago, when they could have corralled the rabbits or whatever. The thing with two heads, this is a 70s movie that pondered the question, what happens if you take a white bigot's head and attach it to a black man? And neither of them really like this equation, so they've spent most of the time arguing and yelling at each other. And this is a gorilla with two heads, because they had to test the science first. So you can't always choose who you work with. And they really fought through the whole movie. And it ended happy because the guy who caused the whole science thing to happen, he got left with just his head on the stool, and the other guy drove away happy and singing songs. Finally, Stardust. This may be the weirdest film ever. It's somewhere between, I don't know, a monster's head over there and the wardrobe. There's a story about immortality and how you're not supposed to live forever. If you stretch your mind, you can say one person can change the world. Because he basically goes into their village and with his radical, savage mind, teaches them they don't need to be immortal. And I think that's what happened, because you really don't know. But anyways, one person can change the world, even in an orange diaper.